Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday. The S&P 500 was down 0.7% today. We had a change on our stock market fast signal, went to yellow from green. And we had a change on our bond signal that actually the fast one went from yellow to green. Basically changed positions. We'll make some changes tomorrow based on those adjustments, and we'll basically, tighten up the risk level of the stock market exposure, get into some things that are more conservative as we kind of wait and see what happens here. The big news, of course, today had to do with the Federal Reserve. They raised rates a quarter point. Chairman Powell came out and did his question and answer session. He pointed out that they changed the wording in the statement to saying that we anticipate future increases to essentially we're going to be looking at it on a case-by-case basis. And he hinted at the possibility of a pause, and that's kind of what the market's expecting. And for the most part, the market did fairly well while he was speaking altogether, even when he started to talk about the fact that he did not see rate decreases later on this year, even though the futures market is still seeing rate decreases happening later on this year. So, we got through the question and answer session. The market was doing pretty well. But then we heard news of Pac West Bank talking about the possibility of looking for a sale. And that stock dropped a whole bunch. The market kind of fell right at the end of the day because of that. I think this is somewhat significant because of the situation that we're having with the banks. First Republic, obviously, is the big one we've been talking about recently. That's been now, sold to J.P. Morgan Chase. But what I've said all along is that all of the banks that we've been hearing about are ones that we've already heard about at the very beginning, and that we really kind of have to watch out for another one that comes along. And so that's kind of what's happening today. It's a little unclear as to what the full story is because they did report their earnings recently, and they did fairly well. The stock went up. They were considered, a decent report altogether. So, but you never know with these banks, things can change very rapidly. It's so easy to withdraw money. We don't have a run on the bank does not require us to go down with our passbook savings books and stand in line like it used to. Money can move in and out of banks, electronically very, very quickly. So you never know what's going on there as far as that goes. So very interesting to see how this does play out and what have you too. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. Again, we'll be getting a little bit more defensive tomorrow, and we'll continue to watch, what's happening as far as that goes. Chairman Powell did say something I thought was very interesting today. He said that, although there seems to be a big consensus that we're going to have a recession, including from the Fed Reserve's own personal staff, but he doesn't feel that way personally. He says this job market is very strong. He says unemployment's actually lower than it was. Looking back over this 5% increase over the last year, unemployment should be worse, but it's actually better. And the job market is still very, very healthy. And he says, he expects slower growth than average, but not so much a recession. And so, again, that's probably why he's also saying that he doesn't think they'll be lowering rates for the rest of this year. The market sees recession as far as that goes. So I think that'll be fascinating to see how that plays out. I don't totally disagree with him. This is a different environment. We have this traditional recessions, we would definitely have a very strong argument for what was going to happen. We would already have higher unemployment with this much in the way of rate increases. But because of the pandemic, creating all this pent up demand and all this cash flow that came out of the government that's still being, absorbed by the economy, there's a chance that Chairman Powell could be right, and we could kind of fall into that middle ground. So we'll see how this plays out. But anyway, that's what's happening today. Kind of a big day altogether, and we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'll talk to you then. Thank you.